Hello guys, welcome to Checkmate City. Today we are going to witness the greatest game of the year, right? It was played by Garry Kasparov and Topolov. So Gary was white and Topolov was black. We are going to witness the five brilliant moves in a row in this game. So get ready to see the greatest game of all time. So let's start the game. The game starts with one e4, d6, d4, knight f6, knight c3, g6, bishop e3, bishop g7, queen d2. Here he make a setup of queen side, right? He make a strong setup in center and he's trying to castle on the long side, right? Black is trying to make the castle on king side. So black continued with c6, f3. He's playing a typical Sicilian for white, right? b5, he attacks on the queen side in the opening itself. So white responds with knight e2, knight d7. It's the normal developing moves. Bishop h6, yeah, he is going for the attack, right? Bishop h6 was played to exchange the important g7 bishop. So let's see what black does. He takes back, queen takes, bishop b7, a3. He is protecting b4 for further pawn push. e5, he breaks the center. Right now he breaks the center. It's not the best move because if you take knight takes, then it can be good for black as you look, but the d6 is slightly weak and you can go for triple or attack this d6 weak pawn, and further you can play f4, h3 for further knight g4 attacks, right? And knight c4 can be played, but this knight jumps to d4 and attacks the c4 knight. So there are so many complications in the position for black, but white has a great position, right? Here black plays a slightly inaccuracy move, which is not the best move. So here white continues with castles. Yeah, I have told you, right? He has a typical eye on the d6, right? Queen e7, king b1, a6, knight c1. Yeah, he has an idea to bring to knight d3 or b3. He castles and white play the move knight b3, d takes, and rook takes, right? Here rook takes d4 is a nice move, but knight on c4, sorry, d4 is a slightly a great move because the knight on the center would be great for white. And if you take with the knight, there is a simple problem, right? c5, then you want to again reroute the knight to e2 or b3. So this is the reason why he takes with rook takes. c5, now also c5, he brings the rook back. Knight b6, developing move. g3, he is trying to put his bishop on g2, but it's not a great idea because you want to move these two pawns. It's a tempo move and black can easily develop with rook e8 and knight d7, f5. So there are so many ideas, right? King b8, knight a5, attacking b7. Bishop to h3 was played, and it is not the best move according to ancient because it does not do anything, because this diagonal is not as important as in the game, right? You need to bring the queen to e3 or f4 or d2, right? These three squares the queen can occupy, and as a human you want to bring the queen to the game and play for the d6 or d5 squares in the future. But white play the bishop h3, which is not the great move according to ancient, right? d5, queen f4 check, king a7, rook he1, and d4, which is a great move, right? He tries to attack the c3 knight, and here black's domination starts, right? Knight d5, knight takes d5, e takes d5, queen d6. Yeah, we are going to witness the roller coaster of brilliant moves and great moves. So get ready for that, right? We are into the greatest game of the decade, and we are into the greatest game of all time, right? So let's witness the first and the sequence of moves, right? As we are white, we just think that we have to move this queen, right? The queen is attacked. We just need to take the queen on d6, or we can move it to d2, right? There are simple ideas, right? Or you can play the move to queen g5, right? Or you can play to queen h4. These are not as important in the game, and we have majorly two ideas, right? For queen d6 you have two ideas: one to exchange, or to go back. Here white play the first great move, which is rook takes d4. Yeah, here it's a great move, because if c takes d4, then rook e7 check. It's a brilliant move. Why? Because if you take with this queen, then you are mating 4. Yeah, it's serious. Queen takes d4, king to b8, queen b6, bishop b7, knight c6, king a8, and queen a7, which is a checkmate, right? So you can't play the move which is c takes d4, right? Here black can't play the that move, right? Here black play the move c takes d4. He does not know what is going to come. Yeah, it's happened. Rook e7, the next great move and the brilliant move, right? Black does not go to b6, sorry, b8. He instead go to b6, and here white play the move queen takes d4. He is going back for the king. King a5, b4, the another great move. King a4, and as we are white, we think that we need to play and give a check to the king, right? We need to bring the queen to b3. We think that we should support this pawn, so that we need to play king b2 or king a2, right? But if you play the move king a2, then it's completely lost. Queen takes, right? If the queen is exchanged, then you are simply lost. You are rook down and a piece down, right? You can't exchange the queens. So it's the important move and the only move here. Can you find it? I think it's a tough move, right? White play queen c3, which is the another brilliant move, because it's a one move mate, right? Let's see how black stops. He play the move queen d5. It stops the mate in b3, but there is a mate behind you, the king. Rook a7, which is another great move, and it is going to be mate on rook a6. So let's see how black stop this. Bishop to b7, right? You think bishop b7 stops? Absolutely not. Rook takes b7, right? It's another great move, right? If you can't take with the queen, and you will be mated. So what are the other moves? Queen c4. So you won back the another piece you gave for the sacrifice. Now you are a complete rook down, right? So you can't exchange the piece or the queen. So here this piece is going, right? This f6 is simply hanging. So queen takes f6, king takes a3, right? Here is the mistake. Black should have to play the move rook d1, king b2, and queen d4. Just go for an exchange, right? You want to play this. If this, then you just exchange it and go for the endgame, right? Yeah, it's hanging, but it's some simply a counterplay endgame, right? You can play with an exchange up, but yeah, he played the king a3, and white continue the another greatest moves of all time. It's in a sequence of 7 moves, right? Queen a6, first great move, right? King takes b4, the second great move is coming. Wait, c3, yeah. Now we can take back with the king and the queen. Here, black take with the king. Then the other great move, queen a1, right? King d2, the another great move, which is queen to b2, right? And king d1. It is the greatest move of the all time, because you have to give check to this king, but you have to wait, and you have the patience to make this black king, right? Hunt this black king. Here white play the great move, and which is the brilliant move, which is bishop to f1. Yeah, it's the great move. Because why? Because if you take this, then queen c2, king e1, rook e7, checkmate, right? Let's see how. If you take check, king e1, rook e7, yeah, it's completely made. Then it's an checkmate. So, right, sorry, you can take with the queen, right? It's an checkmate. So you can't play the move queen takes f1, right? Bishop f1, which is the greatest move, and rook d2. Yeah, now he attacks the queen, and in further moves he can take the bishop also. So what is the only move here? I give you a 5 seconds time. Let me guess who finds this. I think the audience in a great confusion. So let me tell you. Right here, white play the move rook d7, right, which is the great move because you can't take the queen, and you want to take the d7 rook, which is forced, right? Rook takes d7, and bishop takes c4, b takes c4, queen takes h8. Yeah, it's a queen and rook endgame, and white will simply win this. Let's see how he continues, right? Rook d3, queen a8, c3, queen f4 check, king e1, f4, f5, king c1, rook d2, queen a7. Yeah, it's going to be mate, or it's going to be completely winning, right? If king e2, then there are moves like queen takes h7, and you if you play c2, then queen e7 check, king f3, then you will be lose the rook, and if you go to king d3, then you will be completely lose the endgame, right? It's completely a queen up. So it's better to resign in the 44th move. So queen a7 and black resigns. It is the greatest game of all time. So we see a sequence of 14 great moves and the brilliant moves in the mixture. So let me see you like this video, and for further videos subscribe Checkmate City for more videos.